My name's Eric Welander. Welcome to my channel. Today, the wait is finally over. We have a HomeKit Secure video doorbell with the Logitech Circle View doorbell. So, is it the right doorbell for your front door? I previously on this channel reviewed the Logitech Circle View camera. It felt to me like one of the most Apple-y smart home, HomeKit Secure video cameras. So Logitech has done it again, and this time they've come out with the Logitech Circle View doorbell. Now, it's important to note, I paid for this doorbell myself. The previous Logitech Circle View camera review, Logitech sent me that camera to review. In this case, I just bought it immediately when I saw it in the Apple store. So keep that in mind. So just like the Logitech Circle View camera, the doorbell comes in any color you want as long as it's black, and it supports HomeKit and HomeKit Secure video. Now, it does also require power from your home. So in this case, it needs a wired doorbell slot, but Logitech does have some great documentation and ways you can check that compatibility I'll leave some links in the description to that. But chances are, if you have a relatively modern home with a wired doorbell, you're probably going to be just fine. Now, let's talk a little bit more about that camera and some of the specs. So it has a 160-degree field of view, which is pretty good for cameras these days. It shoots 1200 by 1600 vertical HDR video, and that's all happening on a 5-megapixel sensor. Now, there's an LED light on the front of the doorbell, which illuminates when it gets dark outside, and there's no option to turn that off. It's always that LED is on. But what that enables is color night vision. And we'll talk a little bit more about the video quality in a minute. Now, inside HomeKit, it's of course exposed as a doorbell, but like the Logitech Circle View camera, it also exposes a motion sensor and a light sensor. Now, these sensors are driven by the data from the camera, so it's not like specific extra sensors on the doorbell, but it's still great to have those for added automations. Maybe you want to turn on and off lights when it gets bright outside, you turn the lights off, or you see motion, you turn extra lights on. Stuff like that can be handy. I've mentioned HomeKit Secure video, and I'm probably going to do a whole separate video breaking down what all the details are in HomeKit Secure video and different cameras that support it and stuff. But there are a few key features of that you need to keep in mind if you're looking at this doorbell. One is that you need to have a paid iCloud storage plan above 200 gigabytes. You can get this with any number of Apple's various service bundles. HomeKit Secure Video is all done locally as far as the recognition of people and vehicles and other things. And then that video is encrypted and stored in iCloud. It doesn't count toward your other iCloud storage quota. And then, of course, you can access it from anywhere while it's stored securely in iCloud. Now, you can do a lot of other common features with a lot of other video platforms, like you can set up activity zones so you don't have to get notifications if maybe your doorbell can see a major road, and every time a vehicle goes by, you don't need a notification about that. So you can sort of turn on and off different areas of the picture for notifications and to be alert. And you can also hook up, I think a really cool feature, especially for a doorbell now, is that you can hook up your iCloud photo library, and if you've identified faces of people in your photo library, it can use that data securely to identify within your local network in your home, identify the people at your door. So your home pods can announce who's at the door, and you'll also get that potentially in the notifications you get to any of your Apple devices or popping up on your Apple TV, things like that, of course. This all plays well into Apple's ecosystem, of course. Now, that gets to another thing about HomeKit doorbells is the chime. So you can enable or disable the hardware chime in your home in the settings in HomeKit, and you can also choose which home pods you might have in your home that can sound the chime. Now, of course, if they recognize a face at the door, the home pods can also announce who the face of the person is. So this doorbell retails for $199 US, and for $299 US, you can get it with professional installation included. But what about the setup? Is it that hard? My experience, no. If you've done anything kind of electrical in your home, it's really not that hard to just, set aside some time and pay attention to the details, the instructions, and you're probably going to be good. But of course, it is nice that there is that easy professional installation option if you don't have the time or you just don't feel comfortable doing it. And if my one quick tip there, having done a variety of home doorbell installations, you want to take some time to figure out what circuit your doorbell is on, because it might not be what you'd expect. So it's usually something around where the chime is. So try some circuits and be prepared to, have to shut off and on different circuits in your home just to figure out where is that power to the doorbell coming, because you'll need to shut it off, of course, for installation. Now, Logitech for the setup has you set up the doorbell in HomeKit first before doing any of the actual installation of the doorbell. And they have you for this plug in a micro USB cable. So there's a micro USB port at the bottom of the device, and they don't supply that cable in the box, which I think is very bizarre. Maybe that's just something they're doing in the first gen of these products, and future generations or editions of it, whatever, will have the cable in the box. But I think it's very likely in a couple of years, if someone buys this product, that they're not going to have a micro USB cable at home. It's kind of becoming a port of the past. I can get the expectation that you would have a power adapter to get power to a USB port. But anyways, I thankfully had a micro USB cable from an old Logitech mouse I'd bought. Now, Logitech clearly has spent a lot of time making a web app that will take you through the many different possibilities of your setup depending on your home and walk you through the next steps for installing your doorbell. Overall, I thought this was pretty good. I was talking to a friend, Steven, who set up one of these doorbells recently too, and he was wished there was more color in the illustrations and stuff to understand. I didn't have a problem with it, but anyways, overall, I thought it was nice that Logitech did something, especially they don't have to ship this thick manual with the device. It's all on your phone, of course. But as I mentioned, you do the setup in HomeKit. So while you have this web app as a reference for the setup, you don't have to install some Logitech app on your phone where you're maintaining this doorbell and doing updates. It's all done through the Home app, which is one of the things I love about Logitech's HomeKit products, is that they just work inside of the Apple Home app. You don't need any extra software. Now, once you get the doorbell set up in HomeKit, it's time to take down your old doorbell and install the mount. This is one of the things that I found challenging about the setup. Overall, I thought the setup was very smooth, but just getting these wires nicely seated into the mount was a little tricky. I had some issues with that at first, but once you get it, it's in there and you're good. And then securing it to my door frame was not a problem at all. Now, once you're done with the doorbell outside, head inside and check out the chime. You'll need to add an extension, this little box that Logitech sends with the doorbell. And you just follow the details in the setup manual for exactly how to configure it for your setup. Now, for this doorbell, I'm replacing a Nest Hello. So the Nest Hello chime adapter thing that I already had in there is about half the size, and it fit within the box of the chime. This Logitech one is a little bit bigger, so I had to put it on the outside of the chime box. Now, Logitech thoughtfully supplies a command strip in the box so you can just secure that to the outside very easily, but it is just something I wanted to note is, of course I wish it would be smaller so it could fit inside my chime box, but that said, it works. And once you're done with the chime and through all those steps, you're pretty much set up to go. So what's it like to actually use this doorbell? So of course I installed it last night and I was immediately struck by how good the color night vision was. And I posted some Instagram stories and Twitter pictures of it. I think it's some of the best color night vision image quality I've seen in a security camera. Very impressive. And we didn't have a particularly sunny day today where I live, so it wasn't a great day to test the dynamic range during the daytime, but I was impressed with the dynamic range, and according to what Logitech says and shows, that should also be very impressive too. So on a sunny day, nothing's going to get blown out and become all white. You're going to be able to see the picture. The HomePod announcements, of course, are great. It's great to be notified who's at the door. Of course, the announcements only come when someone rings the doorbell, but you can get get notifications when it looks like someone is, approaching the door, and that will have the face recognition in it as well. Just no announcements in your home for that until they actually press the button. Now, I think, speaking of pressing the button, this is a feature that I really miss with Nest and is not as much a problem with Logitech, but just something I wish Apple would do, is when you have a Nest Hello doorbell and you have a Google Nest Hub in your home, when someone rings the doorbell, you immediately get live video feed of the doorbell on the Nest Hub. And that's so nice. And of course, then you can use the microphone to talk to the person via that as well. I think that's just a really nice integration, and it shows that Apple doesn't have a product like that. I mean, they've addressed now the smaller Smart Assistant speaker with the HomePod Mini, but they haven't addressed this sort of always-on display in the home, which I think would be great to show widgets and photos and, live video feeds from your cameras, of course, and any number of other Apple-y features they can come up with. I just think it's a product that would be so nice for them to have for the smart home, and leaving the Nest world with that just makes me really miss that setup. Now, speaking of the Apple side of this equation, how is the HomeKit video's performance? So overall, it's very good. I found it picked up on people pretty well and detecting faces and everything like that. Now, the one issue I had was we had a small American flag in one of the planters in front of our house, and it seems like around 5 a.m. this morning, the wind blowing with that flag and motion just seemed to make the doorbell think that there was a person there. So I got repeated notifications of there's a person, there's a person, there's a person at the door. And, of course, I looked at the video coming in the notifications, and there's clearly no person there. But, I went down, removed the flag from the front porch, never had a false alarm like that again. So, of course, that's something on Apple, and they'll probably fix those things in software updates. But overall, it's been very good with the video detection. Speaking of doorbells and HomeKit Secure Video, I really wish package detection were here with this. It would be really nice to know when there was a package left. That was something that the Nest could do that this doorbell can't. Is this the right doorbell for you? Well, a lot of us, like myself, like to be more in the Apple ecosystem when it comes to their smart home. I like to manage my smart home and my automations mostly in HomeKit. And so having a fully first-party supported HomeKit doorbell, I think it's a big step up, even if I'm saying no or, sort of getting rid of some of these other nice features of Nest. I really like having it be all local, included in my plans I'm already paying Apple for. And I think that the Logitech Circle View doorbell is really an elegant solution and a great implementation of it. I mean, just like the Logitech Circle View camera, it feels like almost as if Apple had made this. I mean, it's just the attention to detail, the good industrial design, just minimalistic characteristics of it. It's just a really nice product. And, a couple of weeks ago, if some aliens had come down and asked, we need to see humanity's greatest achievement in video doorbells, I would have sent them to the Nest Aware, and say you can link it to HomeKit with the Starling Home Hub. And I thought that was really an elegantly designed doorbell that was easy to install and had a lot of cool features. Now, it still is great, but I think for most people who use HomeKit and are all into the Apple ecosystem, the Logitech Circle View doorbell is It's so great that it's here, and it's my new default recommendation as far as a doorbell. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in this doorbell, if maybe there's a question that I didn't answer in this video, or that you'd love to just talk about with the community. Are you thinking of getting it? Are you holding off? Why? It's great to have that discussion as a community in the comments. So give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel for more content on smart home and building the ultimate smart home office, and everything in between. I have probably some stuff on HomeKit Secure Video coming up soon, along with all kinds of other exciting content on this channel. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.